So welcome everyone, welcome all of you to yoga. So we classes, and what at least in the first part of the class, what I'd like to do is just look a bit more, also things that we've done before over this year and a bit of COVID classes. But just look at the relationship of the legs to the spine via the pelvis. Because very often we don't realize the force that the legs have on the torso and on the freedom of the spine. And we're just so used to having our legs, obviously, and being upright and going walking and so on. But we don't realize that not only, well, the legs are primarily to give us support and to give us thrust into space and so on. But we don't realize how the structures of the legs, if you look at me, how these powerful structures, the flexing front, the quadriceps, the extending and springing back of the hamstrings, the adductors, how much they actually pull. If you think of the torso and head as a balloon or a double balloon that's trying to float up, then these structures actually pull on it. And we all have different patterns, this way, and the legs are, very fixed into the pattern and very, very strong. So they pull, and that's sometimes how our back is feeling great and it goes out, because the force of flexion in the legs as we go to do our thing pulls us in a gross way out, and then the vertebrae, that little bit, those three vertebrae, we're not able to respond properly because of the support, and then we're uncomfortable. So we've been mobilizing the spine, and a lot of that we're standing or kneeling, and the thrust of the legs is helping us. But I just want to dig into that a little bit more, and then depending on how that goes with all of us, we might come back to some of those themes of softening into the body through the upper part of us, our arms and shoulders and neck. That said, I just want to look at one thing. So lying on your back, let me get some, lying on your back, and if you haven't been doing this, probably can't hear me in the cupboard. But if you haven't been doing this, it's very this shouldn't be a prop that you're addicted to, but now that I'm lying on the floor, what's the relationship between how my chest with its curves is lying on the floor in relation to my head with its curves? And how does the bridge of my neck support that? So if you look at me, what often happens is, because we're short in different ways, we can be short this way, but we can also be short this way. Then we lie down and we're not comfortable and we kind of ignore it. We just lie there. And we never explore, so we never really understand the way that this is not free in here. And so the breathing is not free, the arms are not free. And if we're going to make some bigger movements down in the lower body, it's better if we've just had a moment to make sure. So lying on the floor with your head on the same level as your chest may be absolutely fine. And it's a good thing to do anyway, just to feel. But just today, you're just exploring. So you're lying, let your eyes close. Come into the sense of the weight. Arriver au sens de son poids par terre. Noticing the breathing, not correcting the breathing. And then just being near to yourself, just settling the weight, the surfaces on the body, the content of my day, or my morning, or my evening. Not fixing, not looking at all the time, kind of dropping away from that. Dropping away from that. This happens to us in nature. We can be so transported by the beauty of nature or being caught in a rain shower that we aren't filming a YouTube of ourselves. So sensing in is a very, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't need to be self-fixation or that type of self-consciousness. Sensing in is a natural biological thing that we do as we are part of the world. So it doesn't need to be at the exclusion of the beauty around us. So there you are, you're on your back, you're close to yourself, the breath, the gravity, the surfaces, the content of your day, but you're not controlling and fixing and tidying and worrying. It's like the ground and the rain is raining on the ground, that's it. You're the ground and your attention is raining down on yourself, and it's very close, the droplets of attention. Then I want you just to explore. You can do this with a folded blanket. I'll come around, or maybe you could give one to your husband. And try different heights. You can also do this with one or two books. Yeah, how is that?
It's an amazing difference.
It's such a big difference, isn't it? And if I make it higher, to sync with, yeah. So that's beautiful. So too little, too much, they're fine. Like if I made it even higher, you would feel propped up, maybe for reading a book or something. Yeah, so I take it out again. On est en train d'explorer un peu plus haut, un peu plus bas, pour voir si ça change la relation entre la tête et les épaules et la ceinture scapulaire, et si quelque chose se relâche ou devient plus facile. Je vais augmenter, par exemple, ça va être probablement beaucoup. The higher you go, the more it pulls the chin down. Ça va? C'est bien comme ça? C'était mieux? Ah, okay. The lower you go, obviously the more on a level. How is that, John? Good. Very good. I'm going to make it higher and then you tell me. So just have a try. That's good. It's like we explored some weeks ago in sitting. We've done that a number of times. So not taking the level for granted. Yeah. Okay, so there you are. Let me get one. So there you are on your back. And then what I'd like you to do is widen your arms quite wide, but not higher than your shoulders. And palms up. Les bras ouverts, pas plus haut que les épaules, oui. Et la main vers le ciel. Les mains So a little bit of support under your head, and you're exploring. You're not correcting. You're curious. You're exploring. A little bit of support. Slightly wide legs, and then very wide arms, almost shoulder level. Palms up. Now, as you settle, let your head rock from side to side, just easily, and notice the pulls and releases that happen from head to chest. Tu fais une petite ondulation de la tête, et pendant que tu fais ça, tu sens l'étirement du tissu entre la tête et la caisse thoracique. And don't worry, it doesn't need to be cosmic. If you say to yourself, I don't feel anything, that's fine. As we get closer, quote unquote, as we practice nearness, you realize that you are trusting your felt sense more than the thoughts in your head. So the felt sense is a deep human function that comes from the brainstem. It's a sensing, a knowing, a fuzzy but clear knowing about ourselves. Whereas the thought is, oh, I'm rocking my head, he said it should be like this, or the ideal is like this, but our bodies aren't ideals, they never will be. So we're rocking, I feel the weight, for me, I feel a lot of things changing through my shoulders and in the curvature of my chest. And there's more of a pull on the right when I turn to the left. Whereas the whole left side down my neck into my shoulders seems perfectly fine. Now, so you're settling, your arms are very wide and heavy. If my instruction isn't clear, you can look at me. You're going to leave your arm on the floor, but just bring the fingers up and reach out. It remains completely on the floor. And you'll feel pathways being pulled inside your arms. Mostly, it's as if we were making the nerves slide in their channels through the fascia, and we feel these little pullings. Keep lifting the fingers. They can be wide from each other. Keep leaving the arms on the floor. Si c'est pas clair, Johan, tu peux regarder ce que je fais. And then drop your hands. Now we're going to open the palms so that they open flat, not completely flat, but towards flat on the floor, so open. And again, this time you're reaching out through the fingers rather than through the wrist. And again, you'll feel different rivers and paths pulling differently in each arm. You can rock your head again. Now, these long arms that are not stiff, but are reaching and waking up and bambooing, you let these long arms come off the floor a little, maybe 5 centimeters. The arms may bounce around a little. Keep them opening. Don't shorten across the chest in the front. It's like you're holding an absolutely huge ball. Head can wobble. And now I'm going to turn my hand the other way from what I did on the floor. You can have a look. Go slowly, keep the fingers long. And you will feel very long, powerful things pulling through the arm. My right arm is even juddering. Allow yourself to remain connected from hand through arm into the shoulders, deep into the chest. Don't separate, don't just bend and drop your chest. Keep everything very open and connected through, connected through, connected through, connected through. Now it's like you were reaching out through the eye of your palm. And then drop the arms. Very good. If your legs are not bent, bend them. Pieds les jambes. Feet very big and clear on the ground. We're going to take the head support away. On enlève le support de la tête. Yeah. So we're going to do Setu Bandhasana, the curling up of the pelvis. And for this, you always want the head to be free. So very wide arms, huge feet, very heavy through the river of the spine, tail beginning to go up, letting the pelvis roll, letting the lumbars go into the floor, rolling up through the tail, vertebra by vertebra, huge feet. Don't fall asleep in the big toe or the little toe. Huge surface of the foot, deep roots of breath. Yeah, making a few sound. Keep going up, keep going up, keep going up, keep going up. Now, when you're up there, we're going to bend the hand in the first position. So arms left on the floor, but fingers going up, sharp bend at the wrist. Keep going up. And then we drop the fingers. We let the arms come off the floor, very long. Keep going up. Don't separate the arms from the chest. And now we bend at the wrist, reaching out through the eye of the hand. Keep going up. Keep going up. Keep opening. Keep opening. Keep opening. Keep traveling up. Huge feet. Don't suck your bum and don't tighten your bum muscles. And then drop the arms and come down. Tail is the last thing to come down. Very good. And just noticing, resting. Let your chest be in this new position. Float your arms up, all the way up. Keep them long and straight. Float them up until they're vertical. And then going up through the tail. Huge feet. Huge feet. Roll up. Roll up. Don't let the knees be pulled away from each other. Keep going up. You can reposition your head a bit if you need to as you go higher and higher through the ribs. Huge feet. Huge feet. Huge feet. And then rolling down. Roll through each vertebra. Let the weight pour from one to the next. Your tail is the last thing to come back to the ground. Don't let your lower back go down like a plank if you can help it. Let it go down like one pearl after another in a chain until the tail and then the anus releases. Very big feet. Breathing, noticing, receiving. You can see your hands up there. Stay in this new place, don't correct it. Stay in this new place, notice. Okay, now we're going to drop the arms across the chest. I'm doing it if you need to look. Don't move your back, just leave it where it is. You can hook onto the shoulder blades a bit if it helps. And ready, be in the weight, the breath is easy and the tail goes up. Up, up, keep rolling up, keep rolling up. Huge feet, huge feet. Let the weight of your arms interact with the movement you're doing. You will go quite high out with this movement. And then when you're at the very top, bring the arms over the face and onto the floor above your head. Keep going up, keep going up. Huge feet, long legs, and then releasing yourself down. Pour the weight from vertebra to vertebra, tail. You really want to hang from your tail. This is a very deep education to the support, the sophisticated micro support you have from vertebra to vertebra. When the back acts like a plank, something is missing in there. We need to go in and open up each of those relationships. Yeah, as my tail gets closer to the floor, I can feel how deep in my upper chest things are opening up into the armpits. Then you release the tail, then the buttocks, then the anus, then the feet. Let the spine have its curves. Wobbling the head, just noticing, don't fix anything, stay. Stay in this new position. You went very high into the back, just stay, stay. Then slowly, after some breaths, you can start to let the arms travel on the floor, down towards shoulder level. Now there come little moments where the shoulders see the joint deep inside. It seems uncertain what to do. Don't rush. Just wait. And you may reach a moment where it feels blocked, that you actually can't descend any further. Don't push through. First of all, relax in the elbows. Second of all, let the arms bend slightly at the elbows. And third of all, you can lift the arms slightly off the floor as you go over that little bit of anatomy. And the palms turn slightly floorwards as you continue down. Stop along the way, admire the view, have a picnic. Great, and then when your arms are quite far down, just rest and feel what's changing. Yeah, if you want to let your legs drop from side to side for a minute, just to allow things to move, that's also good. If you want to just be still, that's fine. And then coming round slowly. Don't pick up your head to come round and come onto your hands and knees, but roll onto your side. Yeah, really get onto your side and then hang out and then come round. Yeah, let me just sit like this for a minute and just lean back into your arms. You can even let your spine kind of hang down and just wobble the legs. You can wobble one leg or however many legs you have. Okay. Okay. So come around onto your knees. Deux genoux. And bring a foot forward.
Left or right, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Bring a foot forward. So in the beginning, you're kind of you make a box with your legs. Yeah. It's closer to on your marks, get set, go position. And then I like to put my elbow on my knee, and then I'm just looking down at and of course, if your back knee bothers you, put something soft under it. Don't continue if you don't feel quiet. Si le genou se plaint, tu mets quelque chose de doux dessous. Okay, so I'm just resting on my knee. I'm looking at my foot, and I'm letting my toes come up. I'm letting my toes widen. And I'm just rocking back and forth, forward and back over the foot, through the ankle. You can touch down on the ankle if you want. And also you can see that the flexion extension, the lunge in the pelvis is happening in a mild way. So that's what we're doing. Yeah. Lots of length under the foot. You know, you can look at your foot. It's interesting. Sometimes you can see that your foot is actually grasping. Not some people have very bent toes. That's fine. God loves you, however your toes are, or even because of your toes. But sometimes we're actually grasping and we don't realize. Yeah. The tips of the toes can be turning white and we don't realize. So just letting the toes come up, les orteils, on peut les enlever, pas enlever, mais lever, on peut les écarter. Yeah. And your hand can slide down into the foot, sinking. Don't think surface, think like you're making pizza, or quiche, or arepa, or chapati, whatever you want. Yeah, sliding over the big arch of the foot. You can see how it sticks up in different ways for us. And then down onto the plane here, the planes with your hand. Yeah. Great. Wonderful. Okay, and by the time you've done this a few more times, you will have come into quite a big lunge on the forward part. Yeah. So lunge and back, and lunge and back. Okay, going back, reach back with your tail and go as far back as you can until the leg starts to say stop, and then you can lift the foot up and you can come back a little. Wide, very wide toes. Yeah, very big. Then I aim with the foot back to the floor. And there it is. And then I come back through and I come forward into a lunge, very far. As far as it goes, until the heel starts to come off the ground. Tu t'arrêtes quand le talon commence à s'élever. Voilà, c'est bien. You keep coming forward. You keep leaving the heel, keep coming forward. Grinding of teeth, grimacing and frowning doesn't help. Yeah. Keep coming forward. Then the foot roots as you come back, as you come back, as you come back. Leave the foot on the ground and then let it come up. Roll through the heel. Yeah. Yeah. It's a very strong movement at the back of the knee, at the back of the sit bone here, down here. Some of us will feel it more in the knee. Some of us will feel it more at the pelvis. It depends on how you use your hamstrings and the tilt of your pelvis. And then we come back and we change sides. Maybe we'll just have a bit in the middle where we just let the spine hang. Let the belly hang. I would say this is really like being a cow. You just really let your belly hang, or a donkey. Really let your spine hang between your shoulder blades and arms. The head can be up or down, it doesn't matter. And we just rock back and forth just a little. Really let your body hang through. So your tail is up, your head is up or down, it doesn't matter. Breath. Okay, let's come to a middle place. And let's go the other way. Let your tail drop. Let your head drop. You don't need to squeeze to make this flexion. Just really see if you can let it happen. Very deep drop of the head and tail. Very high flying up of the chest and spine. Letting yourself push up a little through the arms. And come back to the middle. Not bad. Other foot. Yep. Yeah, so there it is, that foot right there on the ground in front of you. You can rest down on your knee a bit as you rock. Yeah, so these moving, it's not fidgeting, it's actually how we build our body, our world, and the movement. You know, just little movements and adjustments, like we're mapping, exploring, finding. And then letting the hands sink down onto the ankle, letting the fingers sink into the ankle space. Very deep. And down onto the foot. It can be nice to use your thumb and first finger or the whole palm, you know, or your fingers, yeah. But we don't very often do this. We don't often think about sinking through the skin into the clay underneath there. Yeah. Yeah. All the way down onto these beginning of toe area looking things. And all the time we're moving. And that's what starts to loosen the earth and open up the habit. Yeah, and of course, eventually we're making a very deep lunge and you're really just leaving your heel on the floor as you lunge forward. Yeah, it doesn't matter so much as we play where your head is. And then going back, back, and then let the heel come up. Yeah. You can stay up or come all the way down. Really roll through the heel, and you'll feel, like we did when we were playing with the arms, all of this, you'll feel these lines pulling deep inside the leg. Wide toes. Wide toes. Okay, now reaching with the foot, coming up until it connects, and then coming through. Okay. Okay. We were leaving the heel on the floor, but that's cool. And let's just have a break. You can widen your knees or not. Just have a break. Don't think, don't correct, don't do. Okay, and then just walking forward. If you're coming to these classes, you've done this before. So just from child's pose, let me just arrive. Then just beginning to walk forward with one arm and just kind of inching your way forward, letting the head, the bum starts to come up. It looks like you've never done yoga before and never going to do it again, but that's not true. You're just doing a very secret, hidden squirrel pose. And then you can tuck your toes under, and eventually you're very long and you're just letting the spine drop through from the tail down to the head. Lots of softness. Let yourself drop through. And as you release into this, the sit bones widen. You notice this widening. Yeah, and this is a huge, hugely good thing for the body. And then we come up, and okay, so we're gonna just have a look. I'm just gonna give myself a little bit of support. Got my foot in front, put a bit of weight on my knee. So the focus is the back leg rather than this one. Just let my awareness travel back. Then I have support under my knee because you're going to roll over the kneecap, so you don't want to be uncomfortable. So here I am, my head is up, my spine is long. There's a moment of great rejoicing. And then I just let the back leg come up off the floor like that. Okay. That's the first thing we're going to do. Just try that on one side. Lots of length, lots of length. It's a very deep movement. It's a wonderful, don't strain and don't look at the picture of it. Doesn't matter how high you go. It's very, very good for the lower back and all that kind of softness we get in the spine because we hunch forward over our phones and computers. Let the foot come up. Yeah, if you relax the foot, you'll see that the heel does it, the leg kind of gets a bit curvy. If you point the foot, you can control it more. Both are fine. And then let go. Yeah. Ça va? Comes up. You know, as I come up, I actually lean into the pose. So, yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah, you can help yourself here, have a long head. The more you lean into it, the more movement you get. Yeah. Try the other side. Big step. So you probably will feel on both sides very strong forces in the front and the back. And what that means is the flexion of a leg is never isolated just there. There is no way that you can make a deep movement without the other leg participating. And in fact, as you do flexion and extension, you have these forces of rotation pulling on you, and you can feel them. And by lifting the lower leg, we simply amplify this. So rest into that front knee, huge base of the foot, lots of length at the back. Reach away through the toes and just let the leg come up. Long up through the head. Yeah. You can lean a bit into it on the left or the right. I can feel my kneecap on this side. It's interesting. Yeah, that's better. Lots of length. You can lift up out of the pelvis with the torso and head. And release down. Yeah, good. Okay. How is that? Wow. Yeah. So we're just going to, so don't worry about this and don't grind your teeth because the first leg again. Yeah. Yoga shouldn't send you to the dentist. But what we're going to do, same thing, but I'm going to look back at that back leg as it comes up and I'm going to reach for it. And so you might put your other hand wherever you need. It really doesn't matter. So I want to be a bit further off my knee. So lots of hammocky length through there. And I come up and I look back. And then I reach for the leg. You can use a belt if it doesn't reach. And I'm gonna sink into this. So just wanting to touch your leg may be as far as you can go. So enjoy that bit.
It's cramp.
And cramps, definitely. Cramps are happening because this is not a normal movement. This is rarely done on a Zoom call, I think, worldwide. So, but then if it's all good, come back to look forward. Whee, I lost my balance. So if it's all good and you're there and all is well, don't hold your foot, hold your ankle. Then come back to look forward, bring your knee and slowly turn your torso forward. Yeah. Very strong. Release into. That's it. And then let go. Beautiful. Let go. Come back. Sense. Yeah. It's almost as good as drinking a margarita.
Still a secret to me.
There, other foot. Yeah. So sink in, you have a good base, letting your pelvis drop. Yeah, because if you hold yourself slightly out of the pose, it makes it much harder, really. Then get off your kneecap. So my right kneecap's a bit weird today. So off it. Then the leg bends. Then I get around to connect with it. Oh yeah, there might be a cramp on this one. Yeah, and then just sink into the lunge for a moment, breathing. And then coming up and turning and turning and turning, facing forward. Really rest in and get long. Get long out through the head. Yeah, let yourself into it. Good. Very good. Let me just see the time. Okay, so first forward leg. Both hands, fingertips maybe, or knuckles on the floor. And just drop into a long lunge with the knee just slightly in front of the heel. So heel, knee slightly in front. Légèrement, oui. Et alors, le reste, c'est que il faut que tu recules avec le voile. So you're very deep in the pose, very deep. Foot is quiet. John, you could go much further back with the back leg. That's it. Then put your hand on your knee. Open up through the chest here. In fact, sometimes it's helpful just to touch like this. Just to touch the chest, just to realize that you could actually let the chest fall upwards. Free in the neck. Hand on the chest, on the knee. Then we're going to slowly lift the opposite arm. Now, it's not up this way. It's it's like your arm is part of this leg line. So it's the elbow and the arm coming up, and there's length as you release down into the pose, into the jacuzzi. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yes, and then look up at the sky as you come up with the spine, but not out of the pose. Up with the spine, up, keep going up. You'll feel very deep behind the pubic bone. Stay deep and come on up. Okay, if you can't come undone, depending on the country you're in, it's usually the same number 3 times, like 999 or 000. Ça va? Good. And then just feel. You can fold into child pose, or you can just stay upright. And just feel into that fold. Yeah, we have to work with gravity when you work in the legs. If you just do strength work, very often your leg just kicks you out and does its thing. Okay. So we're going to go forward with the other leg. Just a few little movements, just little movements to get the olive oil flowing and just to sense where you are as we go into the lunge on the other side. Okay, go back with the back leg, really reaching back, really open with that front foot. Great. And then just touching the breastbone. So we're opening up through the chest into the head. Way up, up under the clavicles, into the throat. Freedom in the back of the neck. Huge feet. Wonderful. Then hand. Now, again, don't lift out because you're lifting your arm, and it's not just a shoulder move. It's like the whole arm through the elbow is part of this back line. And it goes up through. So rest into the hammock all the way. It's as if you're resting your weight into the armpit, and then it comes up. Huge feet resting long, and then the arm begins to bring the spine up. And the feet, both feet, are awake to what you're doing in very different ways. The sole of the front foot touching the ground, the front of the back foot touching the ground. Spine continues to come up. Keep coming up. Use your hand. Sink as you come up, falling and flying, opening up. Make some sound. Ah. Ah. And coming back. Come undone slowly. Just resting. And just resting into the counter pose, upright or folded forward in child. Okay, so we're going to come to standing. Yeah. So you can do this in the middle of the room, or you can use the wall or a piece of furniture for support. It's really up to you. You're going to be balancing on one leg. Huh? Okay, so you're just standing on your feet. We're going to, so not completely over, but just stable on the right leg. We're going to let the back leg, the left leg go back. So just balancing, open. Then we're going to let the back leg bend, and we're just going to get hold of the ankle. Better than getting hold of the toes, because you have more control over your knee. Yeah, now, the tendency will be to flex like this, here and here. But try to let your knee drop. See what I'm doing? Try to let your knee drop and try to let yourself come up. So it's very difficult for me, but for some of you, you'll get very straight here. Maybe that's the problem, the word straight. So we just let the knee drop. Let the groin in here where my fingers are. Wait for that to open. That's the thing. And at the same time, we want to lift up. So there is a lifting, an awareness in here. Yeah. We have vestigial ligamentous structures that come from our bladders, actually, and come all the way up and have an impact in the shoulder structures. It's called the urachus ligament, I think, in here. So we're lifting here like I'm doing, and then slowly the leg comes back because of the arm, similar to what we did on the floor. Slowly the leg comes back. Slowly the leg comes back and the knee starts to go back. But don't tip forward in the beginning. Stay very up and you can let your arm go out. Yeah, like we did in the lunge. As you come back, open your gaze. The space is holding you up. It's fine to fall over. And that's it. You keep going up. Il faut monter avec le bras. Voilà, avant de descendre. That's it. Et prends pas le pied, mais la jambe. Okay, play on the other side. C'est très beau. Yeah. Yeah. Balance. Huge roots. Already this lifting. Very awake in the foot. It's lots of fun. The leg bends. You know, if that really doesn't work for you, you can use a belt. You can make a little belt. How am I going to do this? You can make a little belt so that you have something to hold on to. Yeah, bend, reach at the ankle. Don't go onto the foot. Huge lifting as you go back. Lifting as you go back. Lifting as you go back. Keep opening up. So this is Natrajasana. Yeah, the Lord of the dance. And very nice. Keep going back. And then the other side, just do it a few times. Try to balance, but also really let yourself fall over. Yeah. So when you're very high, I keep falling over before I get there. Then you can tip. Quand tu es vraiment haut, après tu peux commencer à incliner. Yeah. Up, 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 that's it. Up. Bring the leg back, and then you can start to tip it. Yeah. Et tu peux distancer avec le pied. Mais le genou, voilà, voilà. Let's do one more. Pick a side, don't think about it. Grab the ankle, stay with yourself. Huge roots, big wings, knee going back, lifting up, huge feet. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. No wonder you